Today we're following USA women's ski jumping team member Anna Hoffmann as she trains to compete for a spot at the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. Women's ski jumping has been a fairly recent Olympic event. It was considered dangerous, unhealthy, immoral, unladylike, and unattractive. Women would damage their ovaries and uterus and wouldn't be able to have children. As late as 2014, the Russian men's ski jumping coach commented, "Women's ski jumping is, quote, too hard work. Women have a different purpose, to have children, do housework, to create a family home." Anna has partially accepted the housework statement. She drives to Park City before her classes at University of Utah to iron. But she's not ironing clothes. She's ironing wax on her skis for today's jumps. Next, it's warm-up exercises with their teammates on a parking lot next to the trailer that is their dressing room and coach's office. Coach Anders Johnson instructs Anna in form and helps her fly from a makeshift jump. Anders Johnson not only coaches the U.S. women's ski jumping team, but also sews their suits. Ski jumping equipment has very detailed requirements. The type of material for the suit is prescribed, as well as the thickness. Each suit is fitted to the jumper's body shape. Helmets have been compulsory since the 1980s. They obviously provide some head protection in the fall, but also provide aerodynamic flight. The length of a jumper's skis is calculated according to her height and weight. The boots used in ski jumping are designed to allow the skier to lean forward during the flight. Anna's are made in Germany with high-back leather with a low cut at the front. Women could only fly at the Olympics since 2014. In 2008, women's jumping stars from multiple countries filed a lawsuit against the Vancouver Organizing Committee, host of the 2010 Olympics. The British Columbia Supreme Court ruled that not providing a ski jumping competition for women was discrimination, a violation of Canadian equal rights law. But the Canadian courts had no authority to require the I.O.C. to add the event. The I.O.C. denied the exclusion was based on gender, but rather technical issues. But whether of fear of more legal action or in response to the media attention to the women continuing to struggle for equality on the Hill, women were finally permitted to compete in the 2014 Olympics in Sochi. Anna comments on the discrimination.
So I think it originated with a lot of just, sexism and things like that. It's a male-dominated sport, and it always has been. And so I think that was the beginning, is making it, kind of the old boys club kind of thing, where you it's just men, and you just do that. But I think a lot of the reasoning now is the lack of development in women's ski jumping is now the argument. However, I think that in the past 10 years, it's been just drastic. You went from a group of 20 to 30 female jumpers, and that's not a lot. That's not a depth of competition. But I don't think that argument is the most valid even in this year compared to last year, because we have World Cups with 60 to 80 girls consistently. We have Continental Cups, which is the next level down, consistently with 40, 50 girls. We have Fist Cups consistently with 30-something girls. And so we have all these different levels of competition that are filling up more and more every single year. And that was the whole argument, that women don't have the depth in competition. But I would argue that that's changed, and it's changing on a year-to-year basis.
Women only compete on the normal 90-meter hill. However, the U.S. women's team trains on the large 120-meter hill. The I.O.C. only allows women to compete in two events on the normal 90-meter hill. Men can compete in 4 events on the normal and the large 120-meter hill. Thus, women have fewer chances to medal, fewer chances at endorsements. The majority of U.S. Olympians are self-funded. Equipment and training are expensive. And if females get endorsements, contracts, or prize money, there is less for male competitors. Another strike against gender equity. Despite the challenges, Anna explains why she jumps.
Well, I ski jump because it's one of the most magical kind of feelings you could have. I mean, how often are people able to fly on their own accord and do that? And, being a professional athlete is a different type of discipline, and it's very rewarding, and it's really fun. And I think there's only only a handful of people really get to experience being a professional athlete. And so I think that that's why I do it, is because I love the drive, I love the training and all that stuff with that. And I think that it's a really fun sport, and it's just so freeing. I think our sport is really interesting, and it isn't given enough credit, because we go down the jump and we do quote unquote the same thing every time, and it's the same hill every time, right? However, I think what's interesting about the sport, and I think a lot of people don't realize this, is that it's a mental sport more than it is anything. You could be the best at jumping really high off the ground, you could be the fastest, you could be the strongest, but if you mentally aren't in the zone and can't get into that zone that often, you can't do well. Ski jumping is such a special community, because you get to have intimacy between the best of the best, the world champions, all those people, and the younger girls. It's a small community. Sarah, who is a world champion, I text her, weekly. We're in good contact.
Anna explains how to succeed in ski jumping.
It's a mental sport, and I think that that's why it's very cool, because every single second, every millisecond on the hill matters. Every body movement, every little thing that you do matters in the end, and how you use those movements, how you do that, depends on whether you win a competition or lose. You could be the same fitness level as someone, same everything, but the difference between having your mental game being sharp, being precise with everything, all your movements and all your feelings, that's the whole sport. Yeah, so the whole jump takes about 7 seconds, so reality being in the air is about 3 to 4 seconds. And so when you're going, you can feel the lift being created underneath your body, created by your surface area of your skis and your body. And so as you're going, you feel the wind on your face, and you feel all that stuff, and each single movement you have with your body or your skis affects how the wind feels on you as well. And a good jump feels like you're being carried and like you're soaring away from the hill. You become more critical, you become more aware of everything, and that is a tool, and also can be a tool to help you and a weapon against you.
Anna successfully mastered these tools to win the 2021 Women's Olympic Trials at Lake Placid, New York. She was the only USA women's ski jumping team member to be officially accepted to fly at the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. Anna joins an elite class of international female ski jumpers to compete in the Winter Games.